All right, welcome back to the yarning of our canary. So here, our canary, which is also a versatile bird. I have to say that slow, sounds the best speech. Working on the wings. So a couple things to note here. One, we are learning how to turn rows if you haven't learned how to do that. And then here I wrote down as a general rule of thumb, basically, in most patterns, you do not work back into the first chain from the hook when you turn around after you've made a row. So it'll make sense in just a second. So row 1 is going to be pretty much the only one that's super unique. You're going to chain 12, and then when you work around the other way, you're going to start from the second chain, like this thing says, and then you're going to do 11 stitches, and then you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to turn. That should equal 12 stitches. All right. So I'm going to show you a version of good and bad of how you begin straight rows. Okay, so keep your yarn on your right. You want to make that cursive D, turn it around, grab here and here, pull. And then, of course, knowing me, I shall tie this so that I do not accidentally crochet it up into the wings, because I might very well end up doing that. Okay, so where's my needle? Okay, or my hook. It's still a 4mm hook, okay? Now, when you chain like this, you need to make sure you're ready and you're really paying attention and you do not walk away from it, okay? Or you need to start over. So this is the beginning point. We need to do 12, right? So now when you're doing something like this, it needs to be loose, maybe larger than the diameter, because when you start to stitch back into it and it gets too tight, you're going to see holes all throughout it and it's not going to look the greatest. So when you do this, you go back to front, right? And you pull through loosely. When you do that one, you need to put your fingers on that chain you just made. Make sure it's pointing forward. So 2, hold, 3, hold, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the reason why you want to do this, first of all, look how perfect. Nothing the matter, right? So let me show you something. This is if you're being quick, you're not holding it forward, and maybe you walk away from the project and come back. So this is what happens. Okay, it's still 12, and you can still get to the V's. You can. You just have to really look for them. And not just that, half of them seem to be on one side and half on the other side. Like I said, it's still doable, but it's not a pattern. It will not look right whenever you continue around the other direction. So make sure you have time to finish that. Now when you come to the ends, again, the first row is actually not finished until you go back the other direction. So remember, we're going to skip this first V here, and we're going to work our way into the second one right there. and again loose. So whenever I do this, I'm always gonna push it back. And then this is our halfway point, right? Like always, that I always describe. I push it back and I kind of make sure these are vertical before I pull it back through. And I'm gonna do it every single time. So you're gonna skip that hole and go into the next one if you're confused about where the next one goes. So half crochet stitch, and then bring it back. Make sure that is vertical because that one is always going to be longer than that one. You want to make it the same. So again, don't rush through the beginning here. Slow down the speed up, because once you finish this part, it's much easier, it's clearer to see, and you can move much faster after this. So, you see what I mean? How the pieces just get smaller and there's holes. We want to prevent those holes from growing. So we're gonna be gentle. And you don't have to, I've never really seen anybody do this. You don't have to push it back like that. But, I mean, that's just how I figured out how to do it. Remember, this channel is all about tips and tricks from a left-handed person who has worked in analytics and logistics for 15 years. And my job has always been to figure out how to do something faster and better until I had a work injury and my spine was crushed. So now, out of boredom and actually a fun hobby that I discovered with my daughter, I am doing this. And I retaught myself how to sew because my girl got a sewing machine and she had to make herself pajamas for her very first sewing pattern. Nothing small, pajamas. I'll probably post that also on the YouTube because I just made a website and I kind of want to make the website and the YouTube channel family oriented. However, easy to navigate by making playlists. So that's just what I'm going to do. My website is Left Hand Yarning, just like the YouTube videos are. It'll probably be easier for me to work on that since I know how to edit, do graphics and things like that. YouTube doesn't really give me those options unless I am just completely missing them. Okay, so now sometimes here at the very end, I'll get confused about whether or not I'm supposed to go into that knot. So I'll just count. See, now look how good that looks. That looks so good. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nice. Okay, perfect. Now what we're gonna do is called a chain 1. So it's just exactly how we started off. Back to front and like this. Now when you do this, you have to remember you need to turn your piece exactly the same way every single time. Some people do this. I'm not like that. I will do, and you got to keep that in there too. So if you stop, you need to turn back around, do that stitch, and then continue. So I always turn it this way. Now for the rest of the pattern here, it says the rest of the pattern instructs you to crochet through the back halves of the loop only. And when you see the ending result, you'll be like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I can totally understand why it says that. So now we did that extra chain so that when we go into the second V there, we're not wasting a stitch. That's the reason why it's like that. Now this one is you're gonna stitch 9 regular stitches, and you're going to notice a pattern here very soon. So we're going to do 9. And this was not even close to what I expected it to be whenever I got further down to different rows, and you'll see what I mean. So, whoa, where am I? Okay, so I just did that one. Hold on. Uh-oh. This is what I mean. You go back here. So you make sure you're doing this very uniform. Do the chain, turn back around, and do the second from the hook. And you're gonna do 9. Okay, now I see it. So here's what you're working on right here, and you're doing the back loops, what is facing away from you. So that was 1 going through that loop, and you're gonna pass the big hole always. Now at this point, if this was a regular pattern, you would be working through the whole V. So you're actually only working through the back half. This is probably the second pattern I've done where it says to work only in back half. So I don't know what you want, Lulu. She wants access to all the stuffing. That's what she wants. House smells amazing. Husband just smoked us some steaks. But I told him to eat without me. So I was already in the middle of this. My mindset has been made. He has spoiled me. I will only eat meat, especially only pork chops, if they are on the smoker. Otherwise, I'll just eat veggies straight out of a can. Okay, so this is supposed. Ow, I just hit my head on the thing again. Oops. Okay, so we just did row 2. So we did. Oh, I might have done too many stitches. Hold on. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. I did do too many because here we're supposed to do a decrease on the last part. So 1, 2, and then chain 1 and turn. So we can count these out. I'm not going to point because I don't want to lose what I'm holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that is correct. Row 3. we're gonna first decrease, and I keep hitting my head. We're gonna first decrease and then do 8 and chain 1. Okay, so again, not the first, the second. So it's a decrease first. Remember, only back loops, 1, 2 back loops always mean the ones facing away from you. Okay, so now it's just across. This is, I'm gonna speed up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, I am still pushing back all the way and holding it vertical before I go into the next stitch, because I just want it all to look super even and good. It's for my husband's boss's wife. It's gotta look good. Okay, so we were supposed to first do a decrease. That would be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this said to do 8. So there's something I'm missing, and it is right there. And it'd be really wise, actually, to check these off as you go, because remember what I said. Okay, so now we're on row 4, and we're going to turn. Well, first we're going to do chain 1, and then turn, and now we're going to do 7 stitches, 1 decrease, chain. So leave it alone. We're going to do 1. Remember, back only. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And you're going to do a decrease. As you can see, there's only 2 loops left. 1, 2. And I thought I'd have enough time to finish this, because this is actually only 1 piece, even though it's 2 wings. So I will have to start another video, I guess, after I eat dinner. Alright, so let's check off row 4. So we're going to do a chain, turn, and then we're going to start off with a decrease again. And you should really start seeing that pattern. And what I love about these wings is if you decide to make something on your own, you can piece together different projects. Like these wings would look beautiful, like on an angel or things like that. So just keep that in mind. And that is our 1. What's it say? 6. 1. I can't really tell. Hold on. It'd be, so that was a decrease. And then there's going to be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to go in this one. The last little one. Let me count it before I do the chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is supposed to have 8 because of that. So row 6. We're gonna stitch 1. My stomach just growled. That doesn't happen very often. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'll be writing all these instructions in the description along with timestamps. So that was a 5 stitched in decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last 2 right there. Okay, so that was row 6, and we're going to end on this last row. Okay, so chain stitch, turn around, and then we're going to do a decrease and then 4 normal stitches, and in the next video we'll get into the other side. So this is supposed to be decrease, so let me do that again. One. So now it's 4 more. 1, 2, 3, Okay, next we will be finishing the other half of the wing, which happens to be connected to this one. So it looks great. We took our time. Make sure you're checking off the rows because it is not clearly evident which one you should be on. So we will be starting on row 8 when I get back. Thank you.